Ready to make a great cookie? Today's recipe is delicious and easy, and it makes a lot so you can share it with all your friends at the holidays. It's a Jamaretti. It's basically a cookie made with almond paste, and then it's filled with jam. It's like a thumbprint, but you'll see our little trick in a few minutes about why it's easier. I have 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour in this bowl, and I'm adding a teaspoon of baking powder, half teaspoon of ground cinnamon, half teaspoon of salt, fine salt here, not the coarse salt. Whisk that together. The cookie part of the cookie is going to be made in your food processor, which is a little unusual for a cookie. Half a cup of almond paste. You can find this at your supermarket in the baking aisle. It usually comes in a tube. I like to break it up just a little bit. And 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Those two things need to grind together. Pulse the sugar and the almond paste. That's not pulsing. My sugar seems to be flying out the top. Why does that happen to me? Does it happen to you? I don't know. Everything needs to be combined. Then add a stick of butter, room temperature, cut into pieces, and 2 large eggs. I'm using the proper method of cracking it into a bowl before adding it to my mixture, just so no egg shell gets in there. People have been reminding me that I'm not using my proper method, so I'm back to using the proper method, guys. Thanks for the tips. Thanks for keeping me honest. Pulse it to combine and then add your dry mixture. And then pulse it until a dough forms. The texture of this cookie is really great because of that almond paste. Wait till you try it. Into 4 pieces. So just divide it in 4 and then pat it into discs. It's a nice moist dough, but it's not too sticky, so don't worry about getting your hands all sticky. Well, actually I totally lied. It's kind of sticky because of the sugariness of the almond paste, but you can wash your hands. I have to do it all the time. 4 pieces of relatively equal size. If you're super crazy about that stuff, I suppose you could weigh it, but that's not necessary. Wrap them in plastic and refrigerate them for at least 30 minutes. You could probably do this a day ahead if you wanted to. All right, refrigerate. When you get ready to bake, take your pieces out of the refrigerator. You can do 1 at a time, or you can do all 4 at the same time. I'm just gonna do 1. For sake of time, roll it into a 10-inch log. Just roll it with your hands. I'm not even using a floured surface. I don't really think it's necessary. It's not sticking. That's about 10 inches. Put it on a parchment-lined baking sheet, and then pat it out about 2 inches across. It's about 2 inches. I'm using my fingertip as a very rough guide, for 1 inch being to my first knuckle. I think maybe at one point I measured my finger. Just like I use my hand span as 8 inches, because at one point I measured from here to here and it was 8 inches. Handy dandy measuring tools in the kitchen. Bake it until golden and just starting to turn dry, 12 to 15 minutes. When you take the cookies out of the oven after they've baked for 12 minutes, take the handle of a wooden spoon and make a trench down the center for the jam. You know, with a thumbprint, you have to roll all the cookies into little balls, and then you have to press each one individually with your thumb or some other implement to make the place for the jam. This one sort of cuts out a lot of the work by making one long log, and then you just fill the whole trench with jam. 2 tablespoons of jam down the center of each log. So it's 8 tablespoons total for the recipe. And then what you do is you put it back into the oven. The jam just sets up in the oven. I just love it because it's a much more efficient way of making a very delicious and festive holiday cookie. I'm using raspberry jam. You could also use apricot jam. Blackberry is fantastic. Bake for another 8 to 10 minutes till the jam is set and the cookie is light golden. When the cookies are done, let them completely cool, then make a glaze with a little bit of milk, about 4 teaspoons, and a cup of confectioner's sugar. You could use lemon juice, I suppose, if you wanted it to be really tangy, but the jam gives a little bit of tanginess, so not necessary. Too many options. I can't decide. So make sure your cookie logs are completely cool. I've only made 1, but at this point there would be 4. drizzle with a little bit of the glaze. But it should take about 20 minutes to set, and then you can cut them up, pack them up, give them away as gifts. Make sure that you let the glaze set before you cut them up or it'll be a little bit messy. But of course, I am not gonna follow my own rules, and I'm gonna cut one just because I wanna taste it. Slice them across, and you get amazing little cookies. So much easier than a thumbprint, delicious, and great for gifts or snacks. Bake up 1, 2, 3 batches of these cookies and watch them disappear. One of my favorites. Happy holidays. Hi guys, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to click here if you want to subscribe, and click over here if you want to continue watching more great videos like this.